At present, we are learning the chapter Motion. The concept of motion and the related concepts were thoroughly studied by scientist Newton. Based on his logic, observation, and experimentation done, he formulated three laws of motion and three equations of motion. Three laws of motion we will study in the next chapter of physics. Right now, we will discuss something about three equations of motion. These three equations of motion are also called as kinematical equations. Kinematics means motion. Let us study these equations. First, V is equal to U plus AT. Second, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Third, V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. All of you know the significance of all these terms involved here. V, final velocity, U, initial velocity, S, displacement, and T means time. These equations are applicable or can be used only if object is uniformly accelerated and moving along straight line. These equations can be proved or derived by using graphical method. But in this tutorial, we will discuss how to use these equations to find out unknown quantities related to moving objects. While discussing various numericals, I may use the terms distance, displacement interchangeably, or even the terms like speed and velocity interchangeably. Why? Why is it so? Because here we are going to consider the examples in which object is moving along straight line path. And all of you know when object moves along straight line path, distance is always equal to displacement. Same goes with speed and velocity. Okay, so now we will discuss how to solve different numericals using kinematical equations. Now first numerical given here is a bus starting from rest moves with uniform acceleration of 0.1 meter per second square for 2 minutes. Find the speed acquired and the distance traveled by the bus. Before I explain you these numericals, let me tell you I have taken these numericals from your textbook. I have taken the numericals from in-text questions as well as from textbook exercise. Okay, let us get back to the numerical. So, while solving these numericals, first let us find out given things. So, to find out given things, we have to read the numerical once again carefully. The bus is starting from rest, means object is not moving. It is at rest. So obviously there is no question of it having any velocity. So obviously initial velocity will be 0. It is clearly mentioned here. Its acceleration is 0.1 meter per second square. Even time is also given, that is 2 minutes. Now here time given is in minutes. We need to convert that into seconds. Why? Because if you have seen, unit of acceleration is in SI system. So we need to have unit of time also in SI system. Okay, so 2 minutes means 120 seconds. So all these are the given quantities. Using this, we will find speed as well as distance traveled by a bus. So let us find out first speed acquired. For that, which kinematical equation will you use? Yes, V is equal to U plus AT. Why? Because we know the value of U, A as well as T. Now let us substitute the values. Solve it further and get the answer. The answer is 12. But write down the unit. Numbers without unit are meaningless. So what is the unit for speed? That is meter per second. Now let us find out the distance traveled. To find out the distance traveled, which formula are we going to use? Yes, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Here also all the required terms are known by us. That means U is known, T is known, A is known. So let us merely substitute the values. After substituting the values, let us solve further and get the answer. The answer is 720 and the unit for displacement or distance traveled is meters. Fine. Let us proceed towards next numerical. So, a next numerical is a ball is gently dropped from a height of 20 meters. If its velocity increases uniformly at the rate of 10 meter per second square, then with what velocity will it strike the ground? After what time will it strike the ground? Okay, so of course we need to find out given quantities by interpreting the sum given question carefully. A ball is gently dropped from a height of 20 meters and it is going to come down, it is going to strike the ground. So obviously distance covered by the ball is nothing but height from which it is dropped, that is 20 meters. Okay, so its velocity, if its velocity increases uniformly at the rate of 10 meter per second square. Here rate of change of velocity is given. What do you mean by rate of change of velocity? Acceleration. So acceleration is 10 meter per second square. Now ball is being dropped. That means initially ball is standstill. That means it is not moving. So there is no question of having any velocity. So initial velocity here is 0. Fine. So with these given quantities, let us find out velocity with which it will strike the ground. That means final velocity. Again, time is also asked. To find out final velocity, we have to use the formula v square equal to u square plus 2as. Did you understand why we didn't use the formula v is equal to u plus at here? That is simpler formula. Then why didn't we use v is equal to u plus at? Because to use that formula, we should know value of t. But here, t's value is not known to us. So, we will use this formula. Because here, we know the value of u, a as well as s. Let us substitute the values, solve it further, and we will come at the step v square is equal to 400. By taking square roots on both the sides, we will get v is equal to 20 and unit is meter per second. So after getting the value for final velocity, let us find out value for time, magnitude of time. For that, we will use the formula v is equal to u plus at. Now this is again the simpler formula. We could have used the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square, but that is a bit difficult. By using that formula, it would have been a bit difficult to find out value of t. So instead of that, let us use the formula v is equal to u plus at. Again, let us substitute the values, solve further and get the answer t is equal to 2 seconds. Write down final answer with unit. So it is not at all difficult to solve such type of numericals. Only the thing is you need to read these numericals carefully, understand what is given and decide which formula, which kinematical equation is to be used to find out unknown quantity. After finding out unknown quantity, don't forget to write down appropriate unit. The next question is, a stone is thrown in vertically upward direction with velocity 5 meter per second. If the acceleration of the stone during its motion is 10 meter per second square in downward direction, what will be the height attained by the stone and how much time will it take to reach there? Now here clearly time is asked. How much time will it take to reach there? And what height will be attained by the stone? Means they have asked you displacement shown by the stone. Okay, so this is asked. Now let us discuss what exactly are given quantities. A stone is thrown in vertically upward direction with velocity 5 meter per second. So they have mentioned here which velocity? Initial velocity. U is equal to 5 meter per second. Now, when stone is thrown vertically upwards, all of you know very well, when we throw something upwards, its velocity goes on decreasing and a moment comes when its velocity becomes 0. So, in this case, what will be its final velocity? Its final velocity will be 0. When final velocity will become 0, its downward motion will start. Okay, so when object here stone is thrown in upward direction, its velocity will become 0. Velocity decreases continuously. Initially it was 5 meter per second. When it goes in upward direction, velocity decreases. So when velocity decreases, what kind of acceleration it will show? Obviously it will show negative acceleration. So here acceleration is negative, that is 10 meter per second square. So with all these known quantities, now let us find out the value of t as well as s. So to find out value of t, guess which kinematical equation can be used? Yes, you are right. We can use the equation v is equal to u plus at. Let us substitute the values. After substituting the values, solve it further and get the answer. Answer is obviously 0.5 seconds. After this, let us find out value of displacement. For that, here v square equal to u square plus 2as can be used. Isn't it possible for us to use the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square? Because we know u, t as well as a also. But that is bit complicated as compared to this one. By using that equation also we will get the same answer. So here by using this equation we will try to get the value of S. So substitute the known quantities. Solve further. And after solving further, you will get value of S to be 1.25 meters. So write down final answer with unit.